everybody, I'm Jackie. I'm one of the designers here with Unique in the Greek, and today we're going to make the Baking Spirits Bright Kit. This kit is loaded with goodies, my friend. Check it out. Okay, you're going to get 2 gingerbread. You're going to get a 12-inch Baking Spirits Bright sign. We're going to make this all on the oval board. You're going to get 1 roll of 10.5-inch deco mesh. You're going to get 3 rolls of ribbon, 1 2.5 and 2 1.5 ribbons. You're going to get 3 different picks: snowflakes, Christmas trees, gingerbread house. You're going to get a package of Chanel stems or pipe cleaners. And then also in this kit, you're going to get everything that you need. This is a measuring tape for all of you that are doing this for the first time. This measuring tape adheres down to your table to make it easier for you to cut your materials. And it's packaged really well. It's 24 inches tape measure, and that's all that you're going to need. And then you're going to get 4 cable tie mounts. All right. The tools that you will need that don't come in the kit: you'll need a pair of scissors, cutting your deco mesh. If you have them available, wire cutters. And then also, you'll need a hot glue gun. Let's get started. All right, my friends, let's do a little prep work first so we can get started. First thing you want to do is you want to load your board, and we're going to use 20 pipe cleaners to do this. All right, so I have found that the easiest way to load your board, and I also use this as my kind of technique to double check how many pipe cleaners I have, is I typically just take about 4 and fold them in half. Until I have all of them folded in half. Now you don't want to pinch them down too much. You don't want to fold too much, because you want them to be more of like a U shape at the top. It'll be easier when loading the board. And that's why I leave my finger and then I press down for that effect. Okay, so we're going to load row 1 and row 3. All right, so I'm going to flip the board over, and I like to hold my board up. It just makes it so much easier. And we're going to start just like so. And then we're going to go every other. And that's going to get our first row loaded. And then we're going to go to the inside and we're going to go between those like so. Once again, we're still doing every other row. And then once you get your board loaded, to prevent your pipe cleaners from coming out, what you want to do is give it a quick flip. And then all your pipe cleaners will stay in. Okay, so what we want to do is our pipe cleaners on the outside. You'll notice there's a little line right here on the board. That's kind of where we're aiming for to put our twist of our pipe cleaners over for the outside row. And you just want to give it a couple twists. You don't want to twist it too much because otherwise then you're going to cause bulk in your wreath that you don't need. Because keep in mind as we go, we're going to twist this plenty of times that you don't have to worry about this pipe cleaner coming off. Now, if you're new to this, you might want to just load one row at a time. Okay, so now we're going to get those pipe cleaners out of the way. And we're going to go to our middle row. And these, what you want to do is you want to kind of aim your twist basically almost right over the hole, like so. And I found the easiest way to do this is to pull your outside piece in and then just twist around like that. So pull your pieces back, make sure you're even, and then pull your outside piece, hold this one straight up, and then twist. Once again, pull your pieces back, make sure they're even. All right, hold this piece straight up, lay this one down, and then twist. Okay, now that we got our board loaded, let me show you how we're going to cut our ribbon. Now, I've already cut most of it, 14 inches long with dovetails, but I'm going to show you how to cut up a couple pieces really quick. So we're going to cut our ribbon 14 inches. And then what you want to do is you want to do what's called dovetailing. Dovetailing is a polished look for your ribbon. So what you want to do is you want to take your two pieces and you want to fold them together. Face the wire side toward you. And then you want to cut at an angle to the outside, and that's what creates your dovetail. Once again, fold your ribbon in half, face the wire side towards you, and then cut at an angle. And your angle should be going, if you're right-handed, it should be going to the left. And that's how you're going to make your dovetail. Now our mesh, we've cut 10 pieces, 20 inches long, and we've cut 10 pieces, 15 inches long, okay? So let's get started. We're going to start with the 20-inch pieces. What we're going to do is we're going to push the inside pipe cleaners out of the way because we don't need them right now. And because we're ruffling, we're going to go ahead and open up all the outside pipe cleaners. All right. So we're going to start on the outside with the mesh that was cut 20 inches. And it's pretty simple how you want to do this, but let me show you how to make a nice ruffle. And what we're going to do is, you notice your cut edge, it will fray quite a bit. But what you want to do is you just kind of want to roll that in one time. All right, and then hold your mesh straight. I like to use my cutting board to help keep it straight. As you'll notice, it sits between lines, and that's going to kind of give you a guideline on how to ruffle your mesh. And you want to keep your hands in one place and pull the mesh towards you. Don't go chasing after the mesh, okay? You want to pull the mesh towards you. And it's about 2 inches. Pull the mesh towards you. And on the end, I just grab it and I kind of roll it under. All right, and then before I put it in my pipe cleaner, I make sure that my two sides are even. And then what you want to do to put this in your pipe cleaner is hold it in there, and then I take my thumb to help tighten this down and secure it down. I take my thumb and I press down on the mesh, and then I twist my pipe cleaner. So let me show you how to do that again, and then we're going to rock and roll on. All right. So what you want to do, take your mesh and you want to roll it down one time. You kind of want to like fold it. Okay. You just want to give it a fold in. And we are doing this rolled. See how it's rolled up? Okay. We want that curl. We want that poofy look. Okay. And then pull the mesh to you. 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 And then once you get that far, just roll it under. And then make sure your two sides are even. Put the ruffle down into your pipe cleaner. Like I said, I use my thumb to push that mesh down so I can get a tight twist. Notice I'm not fluffing up. I'm going to lay my ruffles directly on top of each other as I go. So here we go. Let me show you. Take a roll under. Pull your mesh, ruffle, ruffle, ruffle. Pull the mesh towards you. Tuck it under. And then just lay you're not going to fluff these up. You're creating a channel as you go that's going to make your ribbon lay better. Push down. And then tighten your pipe cleaner. Do not don't fluff these up, okay? You want to lay them directly on top of each other and then go on. All right, here we go. Let's get the outside done. Ruffling your mesh is one of the best ways for a beginner to have a beautiful looking base. It actually goes pretty quick. I always put my zip tie on when I first start, and that's going to help me later on keep track of top of my wreath. That's our door hanger. One last piece of mesh for the outside. Okay, so remember now, our mesh on the outside, you need 10 pieces, that's 20 inches. Now we want to go to the center, and you're going to need 10 pieces, that's 15 inches. Now the reason that our mesh doesn't have to be as long in the center as it does on the outside is because the ties are a little bit closer together on the inside. So we're going to pull our pipe cleaners front and center. And then we're just going to do the same technique on the inside that we did on the outside. The mesh is just a little bit shorter. Now you could go with just one row mesh, but you'll notice that doing this little bit of mesh in the center is going to add to the fullness of our wreath. Notice how full the wreath is getting as we go. And you only need to twist your pipe cleaners just a couple times. Because once again, we're still going to be adding more stuff in our pipe cleaners, so we don't have to worry about them coming loose. Isn't this really pretty, y'all? So as you can see, those little 15-inch pieces of mesh in the center are making a big difference. And one more piece of mesh and we're going to get to our ribbon. Notice how my pipe cleaners blend in nicely. You can't hardly notice them. And look how beautiful this wreath base is. Now the only thing that I do after I am done is I'll go around my wreath base and I'll look at places where there might be a gap in my mesh. Then I'm going to pull my mesh forward and kind of fill that gap. That way I have a nice smooth outside appearance. Okay, so we're only doing 10 pieces of each ribbon. Like I said, we're going to do 10 pieces of the candy stripe and 10 pieces of the cookie. We're just going to add those to the outside. We have so many goodies that putting ribbon on the inside is not necessary. So what you want to do is you want to take one of your cookies and then one of the candy stripe. You want to lay them together, get them evened out, and then you want to kind of fold them in half. Okay. Now, I don't pinch mine down. I just use my pointer finger in the center, and then I crunch it up. Okay. That way I have control of my ribbon. All right. And it also gives me the ability to open my pipe cleaner if I need to. All right. So now that I've got my pipe cleaner open, I'm going to take it and make my pinch. And now I'm going to put it down into my pipe cleaner. And this is kind of pretty important. You kind of want to, don't break the pipe cleaner, but you want to tie this down as much as possible to give it a good pinch. Okay. Then once you get your ribbon down in your pipe cleaner, you want to make it nice and smooth and pull your ribbon apart to make this V in your ribbons. Okay. Do that again. Also, you want to make sure that your cookie ribbon is all facing the same direction so that it's uniform. So put your two ribbons, center them, and fold them in half. Now, some people, this is easier for them. You want to fold it and then set it down on the fold, and some people just ruffle it like so, and then lay it in the pipe cleaner and tie it. But I've been doing it this way for a long time. Take your two pieces together, even amount. Then I'm going to take my finger and scrunch it. And we're going to do that 7 more times so we get all our ribbon on. Now, the reason that I chose to use the candy stripe over the other ribbon, which would have made a nice contrast as well, was because all my gingerbread cookie picks are tan and brown as well. So I wanted them to stand out against my ribbon. So that's the reason that I chose to go ahead and use the stripe ribbon instead for doing my ribbon tails. Now, you don't have to fuss too much over the appearance of your ribbon tails at first, because we'll come back to them later on before we're finished, and we will polish them up. All right, my friends, one more piece of ribbon, and then we're going to make our bow. Now, the reason that we're going to make our bow first is because our sign is kind of large. Okay. So we're going to place our sign after our bow. Okay. So when you get your kit at Unique in the Creek, you can also buy a bow maker This one's called the Easy Bow Maker. It's called the Stow and Go. It's a really nice tool to have. And that is what I'm going to use to make the bow. It comes with this ribbon holder. Okay. So now we're going to use our third ribbon. So what you want to do is you want to get 2 pipe cleaners. And we're going to twist these together. Now I like making my pipe cleaner for my bow a little bit longer. It makes it easier to tighten your bow up later on. So make sure you twist them together really good. Then once you're done, hey, what I do with the left is I tuck it under my bow maker to get it out of the way. Now the bow that we're going to make is going to be fairly large. So I'm going to pull my ribbon out first. And then we're going to start by dovetailing our ribbon. Remember, wire side facing you, and then cut on an angle to the left. Now I'm going to make my tails about 7 inches. And then my loops are going to be 7 inches as well. I'm going to start by pinching my ribbon. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. And then on the right hand side, I'm going to twist it to where the bad side is up. Then I'm going to put that down between the legs on the Easy Bow Maker. Pull some more ribbon out. And now we're going to go back to the left. So I'm going to take my hand in my loop and hold it at the 7-inch point. Okay, you don't want to pull on that. You just kind of want to do it gently. And then once I get there, I'm going to pinch again. Do a nice little pinch. And then a twist again. And then set it down in the holder. Now this time, when we come back, we're going to do the same thing. I'm measuring. Then you can just kind of slide the ribbon down in there and adjust as you need to. And then once again, we're going to cut our ribbon tails at about 7 inches. Now we're going to come in with that really cute baking ribbon. Once again, start out with a dovetail, wire side facing you. Point your scissors off to the left. Make your dovetail. And then we're going to make these loops about 6.5 inches. But I'm still going to keep my tails about 7 inches. And once again, we're going to do 4 loops of this ribbon. Now we're going to come back to our first ribbon. And we're going to do 2 loops again. I want a really nice size bow, and these loops are going to be about 6 inches. So you always want to go down in size just a little bit each time. Now we're not going to put the red and white candy stripe in here because there's already a lot of red and white stripes, so it isn't necessary. So we're going to come back to our cute baking ribbon. This time we're going to make 3 loops. And that third loop is going to kind of polish the bow off. Now, to get your bow out of your bow maker, you're going to grab your pipe cleaner, okay, and you're going to crisscross them through the center, like so. You're going to pull down and twist them. Take your fingers and go underneath your bow, and then push up, holding your pipe cleaner to help get the bow out. Then wrap your pipe cleaner and bring it back to the underneath, and you want to take your fingers and you want to squeeze on your bow because you want this stack to be as tight as possible. So squeeze down on your bow, pull your pipe cleaners. Now, if this is difficult for you to do this, you might want to just use a pipe cleaner to do this part. And then you want to twist that down a few times. Now we're going to put our bow directly in the middle of our wreath. So once again, I told you I put my zip tie in first so I'd know where the middle is. And we're going to put our bow right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my pipe cleaner through this hole and then on the outside. And I'm taking my pipe cleaner and I'm putting it directly down through the mesh. And you don't want to sink your bow, like pull it down too tight. See how it bounced back up? That's where you want to tie your bow. See, sink it, don't do that. Where it bounces back up, that's where you want to tie it. That's the natural stopping point for your bow. Then twist, 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 twist to secure your bow. Whoops. And then what I do with my pipe cleaners is I just simply tuck them back in, and that's going to keep the back of my board all nice and neat. Now to fluff the bow, I'm going to start on the underneath, so I'm going to pull all my other loops out of the way and pull my tail down first. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Pull the tail down first. Now for these, I'm going to pull the 2 loops apart because we used 2 loops, so I'm going to pull the 2 loops apart. I'm going to leave the tail kind of over this loop. And I'm going to come over and do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to separate the 2 loops out. and then leave this tail between the two loops. Now this loop, this tail, I'm going to pull up because we don't need all those tails down at the bottom. We're going to kind of use these to make our bow look fuller. Now, if you want to, you can use this tail. Notice the difference? This one's facing up. I think we're going to do that instead. Then we're going to pull this tail down. Then we're going to pull one of these tails up. One tail down. And that's going to give us a really nice full bow. Now with the tails up here, they're just a little bit too long, so we're just going to trim them down just a smidge. That one's fine. Okay, now that we've got our bow made, we're going to move on to putting our sign on. And once again, we want to kind of put our sign directly in the middle. I'm going to flip this around and we're going to grab 2 more pipe cleaners. And there's already pre-drilled holes on the sign. So you're going to put 1 pipe cleaner through the top and twist it. And 1 pipe cleaner through the bottom, or top. Put 1 in through the top and 1 through the bottom. And twist it. So we're at the top of our wreath. So I want this to set fairly high because of all the space my bow takes up, which was the reason I made my bow first. And once again, the same holes that I used to put the bow in are the same holes that I'm going to use for the top of my sign. And you want to poke straight down through your mesh. Now you don't want to pull down too tight with your sign. You kind of want it to hover on the top of your mesh, and it's not going to squish down, okay? Remember, there's a natural stopping point. So that's what I'm using, is a natural stopping point. And once again, this is the hole that I used. I'm just going to take my pipe cleaner and I'm going to tuck that back under. Now down at the bottom, I'm going to use the same holes that I put my bow in. And yes, you can do that. There's plenty of room. Sometimes it takes a little time. And patience. And sometimes it's easy if you get a little extra help. I have a darning needle that I use from time to time. And I just pop it up through the bottom of the board to grab my pipe cleaner. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do when you're making a wreath, you want to put your next biggest elements on. Also, we want to fix our bow really quick. So that's what we're going to start with doing, is putting our next biggest elements on. And that is actually going to be our gingerbread. Now, our gingerbread are some really, really cute little ornaments. They're uber lightweight. So this is going to make this really, really easy for y'all. What we're going to do first is we're going to cut the ornament hanger off on both of them. And then because they're super lightweight, we're going to use our mesh. And we're just going to kind of hot glue them in because they're not going to come out. So we're going to kind of tuck them in a fun, whimsical way, kind of around our bow. But I want to make sure that they show up. Okay. So let's get our hot glue out. Like I said, these are lightweight. They're not going to come out. You don't have to worry about securing them down with a pipe cleaner or anything. They're not going to pull and tug on the mesh. So that's not something that you have to worry about. But I will tell you, you want to be careful. And you don't want to drip hot glue on your ribbon before you get your ribbon fixed. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little hot glue on the back side and kind of along this side. We're going to put it on the foot. And then I'm going to put it along the edge of the foot, just a smidge on the top. And like I said, we're going to find a spot right here. It looks good. We're going to kind of push our mesh out of the way and kind of tuck her in there, like so. And then don't worry, she's not going to move. And then we're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Once again, we're going to put some hot glue on the bottom of the foot. I'm going to run some along the edge, just a smidge on the top of the foot. And I just kind of want to make sure that these two are even together. They are. Look how cute that is. Aren't they having fun? All right, so the last of our elements is going to be our picks, our Christmas trees. And these will just rip right off. And then our snowflakes. So these will just rip right off the pick or the stalk. Our gingerbread houses. And we're going to kind of snagged on my mesh. We're going to kind of push those to the side, and we're going to start at the top first. Okay, so at the top we have our Christmas tree is where we're going to put down first. And we're going to actually cut a little bit of this off. We don't need all of that. Okay, we're going to go into like basically our second row of mesh because we don't want it all the way out here sticking out of our wreath. So we're coming down here, basically kind of like into our wreath base with our cookie, okay, to kind of put it around the edge. But what we want to do with this one, because it's got a little bit of weight to it, we're going to put some hot glue on the back and on the stick to make sure that it is secure. So like so. Now, if you do drip hot glue on your ribbon like I just did, leave it there. And you want to push this into your mesh so it's good and secure. Okay, you want to leave the hot glue, don't touch it until it cools down, and then it'll peel right up. Okay, so the other Christmas tree, we're going to come over here to the side. So basically, if you're going to use your ribbons as a guideline, we put this one at the top, skip this ribbon bundle, and then go to this one for your next Christmas tree. And now what you want to do with this one is we don't want it sticking straight out, we want it sticking up, so we're going to angle it in under our mesh like so. And once again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a layer of hot glue on the underneath. And then on our stick. Might want to push some mesh out of the way. And like I said, make sure that it's angled up. And then we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing one more time with our Christmas tree. Little bit of glue on the underneath, a little bit on our stem. We're aiming kind of for this ribbon bundle. You just want to make sure that you kind of tilt that in there so that the tree is standing up, mimicking this one, going the opposite way. So next we're going to put the house in, and we're going to make the house look like it's kind of standing next to the tree. And this time we're going to kind of go more toward the outside. So we're going to come down here. And we're going to, once again, angle down so our house is standing up. So if you want to kind of do this, we're on this ribbon bundle. This is the one we used for our tree. So come down one. And we're going to use this ribbon bundle as our guideline. And we are going to leave this stalk longer because we kind of want it to meet up with our Christmas tree. Now this pick is lighter, so we don't have to put glue on the back of it. We just need to put it on our stem. I am poking this down into my mesh to secure it. And now we're going to do the same thing. Down here on this side, using this ribbon bundle, angle this up. With our tree like so. Now, I noticed that my stem's a little bit loose, so I'm going to put some hot glue underneath there to secure it. It happens sometimes, so we're just going to go ahead and fix that. And then our last one, we're going to kind of put it more in the center, like so, with our tree. We're actually going to cut this down just a little bit so it's not too long. Now for our snowflakes, we're going to cut these stems down just a smidge. And we're going to use the ribbon bundle that is between our Christmas trees right here to put those in. Once again, I'm spiking that down into the mesh. It's not too far. And we really just need 2 of these to complete the look. Now, if you want to use the third one, which I kind of like to do because I don't like one of something just hanging around, we're going to cut the stem down just a little bit. And we're going to kind of put this underneath our bow like this. Like I said, I kind of just don't like just one of something hanging around. Isn't that cute? Okay, so we have a lot of ribbon left. So I kind of want to show you one more thing that you can do. Of course, that's up to you. Okay. If you want to add some of the tanness into your wreath, we're going to take, and it'll add some of the green as well, which put a little bit more pop of color. And we're going to take, and we're going to cut a few of these 22 inches. And our pipe cleaners are still right here so that we can use them, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to take both ends, meet them together, even it out. We're going to make super easy bow. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Once again, overlap your two ends. Find center. Bring the two ends, bring the middles together. Make sure you're in center. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Two ends together. I think we're going to do this a couple more times. You could do it with just ribbon tails. I want to do it with loops because it'll give it another layer of texture. Then once you're done, you're going to go back around. Fix all your ribbons. Ta-da! Thank y'all so much for joining me as we do the Baking Spirits Bright Kit. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you enjoy making your wreath. Thank y'all so much. Once again, I am Jackie, one of the designers here at Unique in the Creek. Bye, y'all.